So, Komenda, you mentioned Komenda, and because you mentioned Komenda, I have a video on Komenda I wanted us to play, and so that you can actually discuss Komenda for me. Komenda, since it's keep popping up, we know we are still importing the sugar. So let's listen to this video where we can. Please give me your analysis and give me an overview of the whole Komenda and what the vision was and why we are in a bad shape because we don't have it working.
This is the factory that is supposed to be producing sugar for the country, but it has been idle for 5 years. The roof is rusty and worn out. Before we get into the details of the current state of the factory, let's trace how Ghana found itself in this situation. It may sound basic, but Ghana had a dream to start producing sugar locally, hence the rebirth of the Komenda Sugar Factory. The old factory, built in 1964, became defunct about 30 years ago. A loan of $36.5 million was invested into the factory. Resuming operations at the factory was a perfect opportunity to do things right this time around and cut down on Ghana's importation of sugar.
So as I speak, every single cube of sugar, every single grain of sugar that we eat here in Ghana is imported from outside. Komenda is going to change that. It is my honor and my pleasure to declare the Komenda Sugar Factory duly inaugurated.
Excitement created the commissioning of the sugar factory in 2016.
The inauguration of the Komenda Sugar Factory will provide jobs. It is estimated that in full production, this project will provide direct and indirect jobs to an estimated 7,300 people.
Fortunately, the facility shut down in July 2016 because of inadequate sugarcane. It was due to reopen in October 2016, but never did to date. Since then, there has been a flurry of promises to get the factory running.
Because to swap Emma factory to be down the amount of land we need for the sugar, the type of sugar we can grow here, all those things were not properly organized. I think the ASR organization, and also the be strategic investor, and also it will be about Bisomu.
But it took 2 years before the government announced a new investor for the sugar factory.
This factory, like any other factory, will keep on needing ongoing investment, ongoing, retooling, and if that is done, then definitely it will keep running and it will bounce back.
When are you starting work?
We are waiting for the final agreements to happen. After that, we'll start working.
All right. So you've heard the tape. The president is saying that there has to be arrangements and organizations done for sugar we needed to process, and because we don't have that, that is why the factory is not opening. And he said this in 2018. What is this whole arrangement with trying to have another investor come in to take over? And what was the vision behind the whole Komenda Sugar Factory resurrection by the John Mahama administration, and why are we where we are? Did you guys not, when John Dramani Mahama was in government, did he not make arrangements for the land and the sugar, etc., before the factory was built? And why did he do that?
Yeah, let me say that even the land arrangements and the whole of Komenda was because of the earlier sugar factory. They had worked on land acquisitions during the Nkrumah regime. So when we talk about land and all those things, it's falsehood. You understand? His Excellency John Dramani Mahama communicated yesterday and also explained why the investment in Komenda went the way it went. Let me break it in two folds. Normally, the MPP were accusing us that we had a factory, we didn't have plan for it, it was a propaganda tool, and all that. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama explained that the Komenda Sugar Factory was established before going into farm the sugarcane because of a previous experience that happened in Ghana. When His Excellency J.J. Rawlings was exiting power, he had a relationship, a bilateral relationship with the people of India. And they brought in soya bean to be grown in Ghana for us to have a lot of, because of the economic advantages that comes with soya bean and all its economic benefits, to even export it outside for foreign exchange, among others. So when they engaged the farmers, right, and the farmers started growing the soya bean, unfortunately, the NDC left office. Mm-hmm. So the MPP had to follow up with the Indian government, mm-hmm, for the factory to be established. They didn't. Because they didn't follow up, now farmers had invested in soya bean cultivation and all that. Right. And soya bean too was not known to the Ghanaian market. It was a foreign product, a foreign crop that we were introducing into Ghana.
We didn't eat soya beans in Ghana.
That is it. Right. So they had a lot of losses. Mm-hmm. So based on that, the next agenda was that then let them sell it, market it locally to reduce their losses. Right. But unfortunately, people were complaining that you have to put it on fire for a very long time, mm-hmm, before it cooks and all those things. So it wasn't selling. Mm-hmm. So this time around, when we were going to do this sugarcane and its factory, mm-hmm, we decided that we needed the farmers' confidence. Right. So this time around, we want to establish the factory. Mm-hmm. And after we establish the factory, then when you are engaging farmers to go into because these are not the normal sugar canes that we plant in Ghana. Right. Our sugar cane is very thin. But the hybrid ones that were going to be cultivated, mm-hmm, were so big that, according to His Excellency, could, mm-hmm, be even at the size of a leg or somebody's thigh. Mm-hmm. That is how big it is. So the water content is so voluminous to be able to produce more sugar. Right. The other reason why we decided to move heavily into the production of sugar was that, as a nation, we spend over $300 million, mm-hmm, a year, right, to import sugar into this country. And some of the products that suck our foreign currencies, mm-hmm, are the importations of tin tomato, mm-hmm, importation of sugar, importation of oil, and the importation of rice. Right. These four items, mm-hmm, are the number one, consumers of our foreign exchange. Right. So in the wisdom of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, we decided that then let's do some of these. I left out the fifth one, that is the poultry products. Right, right. So let us do some of these things here to reduce the level of importation. We revived Fualugu tomato factory. Mm-hmm. We established the Adan factory, that produce tomato paste. Mm-hmm. We also started with the rice mills to also cut down the importation of rice. It is oil that we didn't tackle, but with poultry products, mm-hmm, every importer of poultry was only allowed to bring 60% of the poultry outside and make sure that you get the 40% locally to be able to serve the local farmers. Then again, we established Komenda Sugar Factory to be able to, cut down at least even by half or a quarter the importations of sugar in this country. So these are the economic reasons that we went into it. Right. And you see, this EXIM facility that were offered, the first facility was for us to have our the establishment of the factory. The next one was also to go for the facility for the farmers to also produce, to grow, and then have these outgrowers and all that. Right. And this is a facility that was open to Ghana. Right. So the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo administration were, approached that this is a facility for you. They said that they were not interested. Right. Read my lips. They said they were not interested.
They said it was not their priority.
Thank you. It was not their priority. Right. And if it is not your priority, because their priority is that they are not going to run any state-owned, venture. Right. So even with the Komenda, as the video that you played, that they are now looking for an investor. And it will surprise you that in 2018, an investor who showed interest and said that they were going to start very soon, 3 years down the line, is nowhere to be found because they just got somebody to come and show interest, but not willing to invest in it. But I'm happy to say that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has also promised the people of Ghana that when he comes back to power 2025, and this facility is not sold out by this administration, he is going to make sure that this facility remains the property of Ghana, and for us to be able to reduce the importation of sugar, we are going to invest into it for the Komenda Sugar Factory to be on its feet.
Great. Thank you so much for that elaborate, deep dive into Komenda for us. We really appreciate it. Now,